You got one choice, boy. Sex or the saw. Sex is, well, no one knows what that is. But the saw is family. I like this movie. I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Um, yeah, I mean, I think this is an underrated sequel that for some reason a lot of people don't like. Um, I mean, I don't know. I guess I understand some people's problem with it if they don't like that kind of, if they don't like the direction they took with it. But I thought it worked so well because it's not, it's, I like that it was a black comedy. Um, it was the first Part 2 was the first chainsaw film I saw. I saw it way back when, summer 2001, I think. Yeah, 2001. Um, on VHS, and I got freaked out by it. I didn't realize it was supposed to be a black comedy. I just thought it was so weird and out there. At the time, it was the weirdest movie I've seen. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like um, the performances, the characters, the humor, the story. I like, and the movie takes place 12 years after the original. Tobe Hooper came back to direct it, and he thought to himself, "Hey, why don't I make a sequel? But instead of trying to top the first one, I'll just make something different." And he decided to make a black comedy, which he said the reason why, because he felt like people missed out on the black humor in the original with the villains, especially the whole third act. There's humor in it, black humor, and people didn't notice. So he said, "I'll make the second one, um, make it all black humor." So, I mean, the movie starts off with two yuppies going to Dallas, Texas, for like some sort of like, it's a football kind of thing, like a party, and they're actually really funny. The driver's name is Buzz, and his friend with the gun who's shooting all over the place, his name is Rick the Prick, and they call the local radio station, and the DJ is Caroline Williams, who plays Stretch. They're prank calling her, acting like douches, and then they see a truck and they play chicken with it, and the truck goes off the road, and it happens to be um, the cannibals. Chop Top, played by Bill Moseley, who the character is supposed to be the twin brother of the hitchhiker from the first movie. And this Chop Top was in Vietnam during the events of the first movie, so that's why he wasn't in it. And Leatherface, this time played by Bill Johnson. Um, there's a really funny part where uh, when the yuppies are on the phone, and Rick the Prick, he's like telling Stretch, "I wanna see bright like big titties." And it's weird, but the weird thing about that scene is that they have to hang up, so the call can, then she can't hang up. I don't know how that works, but they eventually meet up the truck again, and in the bridge, and that's where you get your first kill scene. And this scene always stuck with me because when I first saw it, I always just wanted to go back to the scene again and again. It was my favorite scene. And there's a song that plays throughout the scene by the rock band Oingo Boingo, and it's the song called "No One Lives Forever." It's playing throughout the whole scene, and while the yuppies are driving forward, and Chopped Up, Leatherface are driving backwards simultaneously, in like the longest bridge ever. But and I always remember when Leatherface popped up for the first time. He has the corpse as kind of like a shield over him, and which is supposed to be the corpse of the hitchhiker. In this movie, they call him Nubbins. I remember when he jumped out from the back of the truck. That made me jump the first time I saw it. He just jumps up and he's like, "Whoa!" And he takes the chainsaw out, tries to kill him. They shoot at him. It's the corpse, the head of the corpse. It's a really fun scene, and then he eventually cuts Buzz, get it, his head, top of his head off, and a really gory makeup effect by Tom Savini. And that part freaked me out too when I first saw it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it. Oh, the first time I saw it, I reacted this way. But yeah, then the yuppies end up dying, while Stretch heard the whole thing in the phone because they didn't hang up, and she has it all recorded. And then the next day, you see the wreckage, what was left of it, and you get introduced to Dennis Hopper's character, Lefty, which is his character is supposed to be the uncle of Sally and Franklin for the first movie. He's trying to find the killers, the chainsaw killers, who killed Franklin and all these other people who are in the run. And the local police tells him to back away, that they'll investigate this accident. And he says, Dennis Hopper, Lefty, says, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, if you guys, put it in the paper. He tells him, put it in the paper about the chainsaw killers, and then I'll back off. Or else I'm just gonna do my own thing and look for it myself. And they do put it in the paper. And then Stretch sees it, and she tries to. She meets up with him, and tells him, I have a possible murder evidence on tape, because those yuppies, those kids, called my radio show. And at first he says no. He says no. He doesn't want her to get involved, but she tells him, I'm already involved. So he just blows her off, and she goes to some sort of it was like Chile convention, where she's with her co-worker. What was I can't believe his name. LG. Really likable character. He's funny. He's always spitting in the movie. I'll get to that later, but they have a friendship together, and he likes her a lot. Like, he wants to be more than just friends. He's always trying to hit on her, but she kind of rejects him, but in a friendly way. And they're at this convention, and then you get reintroduced to the cook. I keep saying to the cook, and they reveal that his name is Drayton Sawyer, again played by Jim Saito, who has passed away. Now, and he wins the second annual chili cook-off. And then little did they know that his secret ingredient is people. So he wins. He's all happy, and on Stretch meets up with Lefty again, and then Lefty tells her, play the tape on radio for your story if you want to help me out. And she agrees. But his plan was to lure the killers so he can catch them. So she plays them. She plays the tape. Gets a lot of angry phone calls from people because it is exploitation. And then that's where you get, and they end their shift, and LG leaves. She's by herself, and that's where you get officially introduced to Chop Top, which Bill Moseley, he fucking steals the show. He steals the movie, in my opinion. I mean, all the actors do good. Luke Perryman, not Luke, Luke Perryman, who has passed away. Caroline Williams as Stretch. Dennis Hopper, who has passed away as well. Jim Seidel. Bill Johnson as Leatherface. They all do good, but Bill Moseley, he has like the best lines in the movie. And that's not to take away to the lines of the other characters, but he has like I said, all the best lines just when he gets introduced. Like he also has like this wire hanger, lights it up on fire with his lighter. He doesn't light up; he just like puts his lighter, and then he scratches his head with it because he has a metal plate from Vietnam, and he has a wig on in the beginning, and he says, "Oh, you're my favorite. Me and my little brother Bubba will listen to you every night. I like to make a request. Music is my life." And then, he's making her uncomfortable, and then she's trying to get him to leave. So she's trying to not distract them, but kind of. She tells him, "Okay, here's the tour. This. I have this. Now leave." And he's like, "Okay. Good night." That part's funny. And then he mentions the tape. He's like, "Can you play the tape again? I loved it." And that's where he mentions, what was that? The Rambo 3 soundtrack, which is funny because the movie came out before Rambo 3. But he's actually there, him and Leatherface, to kill her. And then he turns the light on in the room where they have all the records, and then that's where you get Leatherface. He pops up, and he tries to slash her with the chainsaw, and he accidentally gets the Chop Top. She tries to run. Leatherface goes after her, and Chop Top, he's like, "Oh, Leatherface, you messed my plate up. You messed my Sonny Bono wig. At least you even messed me up." He's like, "Oh, non-flashback." And Leatherface, he's going after Stretch, and she locks the door, and he eventually gets in, and that's where you get the scene that where I'm getting at. It also weirded me out because I didn't really understand it. First time I saw it, I sort of did, but I didn't really. Now I get it. Leatherface has a crush on Stretch. and he turns off the chainsaw, and then starts rubbing the chainsaw on her leg, and and then she's egging him on. She's like, "How good are you?" And then he points the chainsaw right at her crotch, and he starts dry humping her. I gotta give it up to Caroline Williams who plays Stretch, because what she has to go through in that scene. Because Leatherface is just like, and he's dry humping the chainsaw, and then he comes, and then he freaks out and turns the chainsaw and just starts freaking destroying the whole radio station. She's screaming. And that's where you get the fun. Yeah, and then he does this. And then he runs off, and then Chopped Up tells him, Leatherface, did you kill that bitch? And he nods his head. Like, good job. Like, she was our favorite, but she knew. Now no one knows. Look what you did to my plate, you bitch! Did you get her, Bubba? Did you get her? Also, forgot to mention, LG comes back in between these scenes, and Chop Top just hits him with the hammer. That's where you get the famous line, "Lick my dog." He says, "Lick my dog plate, you dick." And while I was hitting him with the hammer, LG spits. He's like, like when he leaves before that scene happens, he's spitting all over the floor. He's like, and then they take LG away, and Stretch was waiting for Lefty. He doesn't show up, so she goes after the Chopped Up and Leatherface. And she finds at the end, they're living in like an abandoned, like museum of some sort. Like, yeah, it was like a museum, because they're no longer living in the house they were living in the first one, because they're on the run. And that's where you see all the three villains together: Trade Sawyer, the cook, Leatherface, and Chop Top. And they're always bugging each other. Like, Chop Top's always bugging Drayton. He always has the corpse of the hitchhiker, his twin brother, Nubbins. And Stretch follows them. And then and then Lefty ends up being there as well. And she falls through like a underground tunnel, and then it's revealed that Lefty just used her just so he can catch the killers, but he feels bad, so he has a bunch of chainsaws with him, and he goes for his revenge, which is a scene I like. When he buys all the chainsaws, he just goes to the store, just looking at the chainsaws. He grabs a big one, and then two small ones. He's like practicing, and then he does the test, where it's like a big log, and he's like, just taking his frustration on the log. In an earlier scene. So while that's going on, Stretch she's in there, she's trying to get out, and then Leatherface finds her, and he doesn't want to kill her, and he gets the skin. And this is like I think this is like the goriest. This is the goriest scene, where he skins the face off LG and puts it on her face, and then he puts the LG's cowboy hat on her head, and he's trying to dance with her, and then he ties her up, and then he leaves. He doesn't want to get caught by a Drayton and Chop Top. And then that's where you get the scene where LG wakes up and he has no face, pretty much, and they skin his chest completely, and he spits again, like, darling. He calls her darling in the movie, which is funny. In the beginning, when he calls her darling, she says, don't call me darling, damn it." When they're trying to hang up on the yuppies. Yeah, and it's just like a really sad moment where you feel so bad for LG, and he dies after Stretches. Her hands get untied, and then she takes the his skin off her face and puts it back in his face, and he dies. Even though it's like super gory scene at the time, it's a really tragic scene. You feel bad. You feel so bad for Lefty. I mean, not Lefty. LG. And you also do feel bad for Lefty too. So Stretcher's, trying to find her way out, and then at the same time, Lefty, he finds the corpse of Franklin, his nephew, and he's still in the wheelchair, and he still has the flashlight from the first movie that he was holding right before, or also during, when Leatherface killed him, and then the light turns off, and that's where Lefty just loses it and starts just going crazy, and just breaking everything, and screaming at the top of his lungs. And then Stretch gets caught. She's getting chased by Leatherface. She tries to talk him out of help. She tries to talk him into saving her. And then Drayton gets in the conversation, and chopped up with Nubbins, and that's where you get the scene where Drayton says, "Sex or the saw," and he Drayton doesn't know how to spell, because he spells sex as he always I never understood why he misspelled sex. He said, "Is this what this is, boy? SCEX, sex." And then Chopped Up is just like laughing his ass off, making fun of Leatherface. He calls him Bubba. Ooh, Bubba's been playing with her. Bubba likes her. Bubba's got a girlfriend. Bubba's got a girlfriend. Bubba's got a girlfriend. And he has his lighter, like, burn her like a rat. Burn her like a rat. Burn her like a rat, rat, rat. And then they decide to feed her to Grandpa. And, they Chopped Up knocks her out with, like, a piece of bone, I think. He's like, "On a 1, and a 2, and a 3. She wakes up. She's in the dinner table. It's like a bigger version. It's like a longer version. A big version of a bigger table. Sometimes my wording sucks, but a bigger table than double the size of the table, of the dinner table in the first film. She's tied up, and then they bring in Grandpa. In this scene again, first time I saw it, freaked me the hell out. They bring her to Grandpa. Before that, Leatherface kisses her, and then Drayton's sort of like getting impatient, like, "Hurry up, boy, Grandpa's waiting." And he's like, Leatherface's like, okay. And then it's like pretty much like an homage to the scene in the original with the Grandpa hitting Sally with the hammer, or trying to. And this one, it's again a little bit more gorier. He keeps dropping the hammer first, and it's freaking like they have close ups of his face. He's laughing. The grandpa's like, kind of like he almost laughs like Butthead. Like close up of his eyes. He's freaky looking, man. And then he finally hits her a little bit, and they're feeding her blood to him. Like, and then finally Drayton just hits Stretch with the hammer, knocks her out, and then you get to see and then Lefty comes in, singing. Like at first you don't see him, he's just singing. I forgot what song, but what song was it? Because Chopped Up he starts singing it too, like singing in the sheen, annoying Drayton. And then Lefty comes in and says, "I'm the Lord of the Harvest." And Drayton says, "What's that? Some sort of new food product?" Something like that. And he tries to pay him off. Drayton tries to pay Lefty off, and Lefty is having none, and he decides to chainsaw his ass, pretty much, a little bit. And he says, "You boys should have never been doing this." And he has a chainsaw fight with Leatherface. Stretch escapes. Chopped Up follows her. I like this fight, They have a chainsaw fight, Leatherface and Lefty. He's using all the chainsaws that he has, while Drayton is under the table, and he grabs the corpse Nubbins. "So, Nubbins, where's the old fuck you charming you used to have?" And he has a grenade. And says, "Oh well, time to pull the plug." Takes the thing off, and he says, "When I get my chance, kablamo!" And Lefty shoves a chainsaw into Leatherface's stomach, and then the grandpa gets the hammer, tries to throw it at Lefty. He misses, hits Leatherface. He falls. His chainsaw goes through the table, and it gets Drayton, and he drops the grenade. And then I guess they die. It explodes while Stretch and is trying to escape, and Chopped Up is following her. The whole place explodes. Not the whole place, but the inside explodes. And they have a final fight. Chopped Up and Stretch. He's trying to cut her legs, trying to grab her. She fights him off. They end up in a room where you see the corpse of the grandma, like in the first one. Has a chainsaw on her. And then she grabs it, and then Chopped Up, for some reason, he freaks out and says, "You killed her." Even though she was already dead, but no, they're crazy fucks anyway. And she's trying to turn it on. He's cutting her back. And she finally turns it on, saws him a bit in the stomach, and he falls and dies, I guess. And then she goes crazy and just does the chainsaw dance. And then the movie ends. I remember when I first saw the ending, I was like, "What? That's how it ends?" But it's a good ending. I mean, she wins, pretty much. Everyone else dies, if you don't count those sequels after it. But, yeah, I like the humor. The characters. I like more characters in this movie than I did in the first one. I mean, the first one is a more better made film. It's better made, but this one's more entertaining to me. I like more of the characters. But just viewing it as a standalone film, I like the characters. The humor works. I like the actors. I like the story. Lefty trying to get revenge on the villains. The music. Oh, I really like the music. It has like this dark, weird music to it in the beginning of the film. The one that goes like, it always stuck with me, that music. and the gore effects are really good. And it has a lot of memorable lines, like I said, mostly from Chop Top. Burn her like a rat, burn her like a rat. She's my fave. Oh, there's a line in the film that always cracks me up, but probably the most, where it was the scene where they all see her, and then Drayton says, "I thought you boys killed her," and then Chop Top says, "Yeah, Leatherface killed her once tonight already." What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. But it's still funny the way Bill Moseley delivered the line. It's his best role by far. But yeah, I mean, I thought the movie I think the movie's so underrated. I don't I don't I get the hate, but I don't get it in the same time. Like, if you wanted a more serious film like the first one, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, it still works as his own thing, or even just as a sequel as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's kind of sad that some of the actors in this movie have passed away. Jim Saito played the cook. Drayton Sawyer, he's passed away. Dennis Hopper passed away. Lou Perryman, who played OG, he's passed away. So that scene where he dies is extra sad, because he was actually murdered in real life, which sucks. But I like the film. It's really good. It's underrated. And actually, I liked Stretch a little bit more than Sally. Not to take away anything from Marilyn Burns, but I know, I thought Stretch was more of a fighter in the movie. She pretty much gets sexually harassed by Leatherface, and then she kills Chop Top at the end, so that's good. And I don't know. I really have nothing else to say. I pretty much recapped the whole film, well, not the whole entire film, but most of it pretty much. So yeah, I mean, what did you guys think? What do you guys think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it your favorite or whatnot? And before I go, I'm not going to review the rest of the franchise. I'll just say what I think about them. One, because I don't have that much time to review them, and two, they're not really worth reviewing, to be honest. No disrespect to anyone who likes them, but I reviewed the first one. This is the part 2. I reviewed the remake. Part 3, it's okay. Take it or leave it, whatever. 4, piece of shit. I said I reviewed the remake. The prequel to the remake, it's so. Take it or leave it, whatever. And the 3D film, it's a piece of shit. I fucking hate that movie. So yeah, there. I said everything I said about the franchise now, and I don't think they should make any more. I thought first 2 films are my favorite by far. I like the remake. I reviewed it. If you want to see what I really think in detail what I think about the remake, check out my review on it. But the first 2 are the best, and if those were the only 2 that existed, I would have been happy. That wouldn't good enough, even though I liked the remake. But those are my thoughts on part 2. I really enjoyed it. I think it's underrated. Maybe it's a little bias because it was the first one I saw, so it does hold a place in my heart because of that. But it still holds up though to me. So those are my thoughts, and adios.